when you get given a quadratic like this, you can factorize it. So in this case, your eyes should zoom into the 16. So two numbers multiplied together gives you 16. You could use a 1 and a 16, or you could use an 8 and a 2 to create your 16. So here, when you get given this, you can always factorize it to this. X plus 8, and then x minus 2. You see, you've been given this by an examiner who gave you an easy one to work with. But in reality, you're not going to be able to you're not always going to be able to easily factorize things. So here, if you draw this graph, y equals this. Okay, if in one of my earlier playlists, there's a section on sketching graphs. Well, if you get given this graph here, you can always sketch it. So when x is small, hang on, let me clear this. So when you get given this graph here, y equals this. When x is small, this term here dominates. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to watch the earlier section on sketching graphs. So when x is small, this term here dominates. When x is big, this term here dominates. So when you come to sketch this, the intercept is minus 16. So let's say this is minus 16 here. Okay, the gradient here is 6. So when x is small, the gradient here is 6. Okay, and when it's big, it wants to do this here. But when it's small, it wants to do this. So you've got to compromise. So we're going to guess the graph to look something like this. Okay, and when you come to factorize this, it turns out to be like this. Hang on, plus 8, and then x minus 2, and it turns out that this bit here is well, when you get given a graph like this, you see the point at which it crosses the x-axis. Well, the y value at these 2 points here will be 0 at these 2 points. You see at this point here, the up and down of this thing is 0. Okay, at that point, at this point here, the up and down here, which is the y value, is 0. Okay, so at this point here, y will be 0. So basically, you make this thing here. You make this thing equals to 0 here. So it's x squared plus 6x minus 16. And then you know that this is exactly the same as this. So you can say that this equals this. Hang on, plus 8 x minus 2. So here's 0. Well, we are trying to locate this point here. You see, if you put x to be, let's say, if you put 2, a positive 2 into here, this whole term here will be 0. So you will have 0 times x plus 8, which is 0. So you see, if you put 0 into here, into this x here, the whole thing would be 0. So it's a good thing. Well, anyway, given this thing here, this point here will be 2, because if you put positive 2 in here, this whole thing is 0. Now, if you put negative 8 in here, negative 8 plus 8 will be 0. So if you make this term 0, then the overall thing will be 0. My point is that this, once you factorize something, you can actually tell where it crosses the x-axis here. In this case, it would be negative 8 and 2 here. Yeah, negative 8 and 2 here. So when you factorize something, it gives you a lot of information about this graph. Okay, so factorizing things, well, factorizing is important. So but the thing is, you see, in this case, you can factorize it inside your head easily, because this thing here is a whole number. It neatly crosses the 2, and here it neatly crosses the negative 8. But if you look at this graph here, okay, if you sketch this graph here, you see earlier we can factorize things because it neatly crosses something. It neatly crosses the 2 and it neatly crosses the 8. Whereas this one here, well, let's try and sketch this. Y equals this thing here. When x is small, this thing here dominates. Okay, this thing here dominates. So the intercept will be 2. The gradient here will be -8, so it's going downhill. So this bit here. Okay, and when x is big, this term here dominates. So it wants to do this when it's big. Now, if you don't understand what I'm talking about here, you have to watch a section on sketching graphs. Okay, so we're going to guess it to be looking something like this. Okay, and in this case, this thing here, it doesn't neatly cross a whole number. Hang on, it doesn't cross neatly. It crosses somewhere. Now, 1 would be here. Okay, 2, 3, 2 here, 3 here, and 4 here. So it doesn't cross neatly. So here you wouldn't be able to factorize this thing here with our conventional method. Okay. So in the next video, I will show you how you how you can find out these points here. Okay.